Good morning, everybody. I'm Pam Myers, and welcome to our weekly Conversations with Jane vlog. Jane C. Phillips is a psychic paranormal, a medical intuitive, and a paranormal investigator. And we've been having a conversation for the past couple of episodes on dowsing, and we're going to continue that today and talk about the tools that can be used for dowsing. So good morning, Jane. How are you?
I'm doing great, and thanks for helping host this every week. So the last couple of weeks we were talking about working with a pendulum. This is my fancy one that I use, and most people are really familiar with pendulums because if they're familiar with dowsing at all, because you can use it on it. It works on maps and finding locations and all of that. I use it in my work a lot. But today I wanted to, we're going to talk about a couple of, one other, and then the following time when we meet, we'll do that. So we're going to talk about L rods today, but I also wanted to show you what's coming up, which is actually pretty fun. This is a dowsing bobber. So this part wiggles and there's a little spring on it. It's simple. And this works in a different way, and so we're going to talk about that in next week. And it's pretty inexpensive to own. There are fancy things around this, but I thought it would be fun to be aware of some of the other instruments you can use to play around with and maybe do some healing with. So today is about these guys, and they're called L rods because of the way they look.
And it's thicker on one end than it is on the other, it looks like.
Right. Well, this is because this is flexible. So this is just a sleeve for this piece.
Okay.
So I can stop it from moving, but I have to grab the top here. And so the idea is L rods aren't as easy to work with. And I'll explain what they're for anyway. But when I first got them, I'm going to turn my energy off. They just kind of were like doing their thing. Anything, it was like, well, they're supposed to do something, and they were just like off. And so when I put my energy back on, hang on, I gotta focus, then they'll line up, right?
Oh, interesting.
They become straight, if you can kind of see that.
Yeah.
But one of the things, most people, if they're aware of this instrument of L rods, are aware because people outside are dowsing for wells and water issues.
Right.
And the L rods that I'm showing you here, these are short because I use them in my paranormal work to find things, and they fit in my purse. But most L rods are like this long.
Interesting.
When you're dowsing outside, this is a shorter frequency and works great side work. This is a little bit longer frequency, and it just allows you to work outside a little bit better.
Okay. And what else can you use it for besides? I'm sure there are practical uses, right? Besides looking for well water.
So one of the, for me, practical uses is I find the edges of things that are energetic in houses. So, but you can also, if you just want to figure out, if you want to play around with these, L rods can find the edges of things. So if you wanted to find out how far somebody's personal energy field is out, you do it by intention. And as you move toward the person, when you hit their energy field, it'll back off like this.
Oh, wow.
You have an energy field. So I'm making it do it. I'm not manipulating with my hands. I'm manipulating with my energy. And then when I'm finding, so I'm straightening with my energy up. So that's one of the things when I was first learning, I was practicing with people. Like I was in a group and we were finding the energy field of somebody. So you can use it for that. Things about these, and I'll explain how to because these are harder to work with. One of the things about this is they're also point, right? So
Right.
one of the things that I have done is maybe I've been disoriented or lost a little bit, and I'll say, "Where is my car?" Right? And
Yeah.
point. Or I've had a friend say, "Well, I'll bet you don't know where the well on this property is." They already had a well, and I say, "Well, let me see." And these rods will point to where their well is, and I walk right up to it. So
That's very cool. You said something a few minutes ago about you use them to find the energy in a house. What does that mean? Can you
well,
explain?
as a paranormal investigator, because that's another piece of what I do, is I clear commercial and residential properties and land. If I am going in and looking for energies in a property, especially things that are called portals or vortices, which are like energy holes, they show up on the floor. I can see them in my mind's eye.
Mhm.
Energy holes, and so I see it in my mind's eye, but then I have to prove that it's there somehow, especially if I have a client watching. So I will say, "I think I see something over here," and I'll walk toward where I think in my mind's eye it is. And when I hit the edge of it, it will part. So it'll feel the energy. And then when I want to find the center of it, it will cross.
Oh, wow.
But
Yeah.
it's by intention. So you can use it for finding the energy field of a person. One of the things that when I was first learning this sort of thing, we were working in a group, and we decided to find someone's energy field, and then we sent them love, because we were all, it was in the 80s. So but we were sending this group love, this person in the center love. And then when we checked their energy field, it had increased significantly from a couple feet out
Yeah.
to like 10 or 15 feet out. And what we were using then was coat hangers that we'd opened up and bent. And because they didn't have this has a sleeve,
Uh-huh.
this will rotate.
Right.
And with a coat hanger, you had to kind of make your hand the sleeve
Got it.
and hold it loosely. And
Mhm.
so we were playing with coat hangers in the beginning,
Wow. Yeah.
early days.
Now, you do a lot of energy clearing for real estate agents, right? Like if somebody is looking, or homeowners, if somebody has a feeling about a house, or they're looking at buying a house, you can go in and clear the energy before they move in and get rid of any negative energy, correct?
Yep.
And you
Yeah.
don't need to be there. You can do it virtually,
Yeah.
right? Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And when I'm working on clearing properties, if it's a local, I'm in Santa Fe, New Mexico. So if it's local, within the Santa Fe area, then I will clear it. I'll do all the work remotely, but I won't be using these L rods. I'll use my pendulum because I'm not walking around. I'm sitting at my desk. But when I get on site with the client to check the work, then I'll use these to as I find things to kind of show them.
Mhm. Gotcha.
For most people, this energy work it's invisible. They can't feel it.
Right.
And so if I find something and then remove it, I find something with these, remove it, and then I go back with my L rods and they don't react at all, then a client has some visible proof that something happened.
Right. Right. Yeah.
But yeah, one of the things that I learned when I first was doing this, and I was taking a class from a girlfriend of mine, and these would not line up right. I'm turning the energy off. They're just flipping all over, and I'm saying line up, and that didn't work. Kind of like with my pendulum when I first started, and she had to do just a little guided meditation to calm our nervous system down. And so I'm offering to those of you who want to grab a coat hanger and bend it and hold it lightly, that if nothing, you're not getting anywhere, try and get into a meditative state and then ask them to line up. Because after we did our guided imagery, I picked up these rods that she had to practice with, and they were the longer ones, so they're quite heavy, and they just went boom and straightened out for me.
Wow.
So our self-doubts will block some of this.
Right. Yeah.
But it's good. They're good for finding energy fields.
Mm-hmm.
I use it that way to find the energy fields. If there's I was clearing a multi-unit property. They're single, and it's a messy place. But I was actually in the property, and I thought I cleared things, but when I went to the wall to prove the corner where I was proving that it was cleared, my rods kept crossing right in the corner. And I know I cleared a portal or something like that.
Yeah.
I had to figure out what it was, because it wasn't a portal, or it was an energy of some sort. And so I had to figure that out. And once I did, it was a spike in the energetic spike of some sort. And so I had to just imaginary pull it out. And then I can't always tell I've done something. But I went back in with my rods, and they didn't react. They no longer pointed as crossed that anything was there.
Wow.
So,
yeah.
So they're handy for that, but for you and I in everyday life, they're less practical than a pendulum, but they're fun for determining energy fields. Mm-hmm. They're something that you could practice with if you're trying to directionally find things, because they point. Right. And if you don't want a coat hanger, you can go online and you can get the long ones. The short ones I got, I actually had a friend make a bunch extra for me because I couldn't find them. The longer ones, they're a little heavier to hold, that you can have. They're maybe $15. They're not super expensive.
Yeah, the shorter ones are easier to carry around, I would imagine, if you're going to go.
For somebody like me, I keep long ones in the car. These have been with me for the whole time, and I've left them outdoors because I found something I'm clearing, I lay them down, and then I've had to go back and get them, and they always come back. So these are mine, but I carry a long set in my car in case I get into something is misplaced.
Yeah.
They're interesting to play with and think in terms. You can't map dowse with them, but you can get yes and no answers. For me, my yeses are like this. Pendulum is something different. My no is like this.
Yeah.
So it parts for no. Someone else might have a different. When they part, it can be the edge of something. When they cross, it can be the middle of something.
Okay. So yeah, it's not always the same exact pattern for everyone. Is what I'm hearing you say. Yeah.
And if somebody is interested in water dowsing, then there are classes and things you can take, because you want to set yourself up with intention, not just find water. If you're interested in finding a well or practicing finding water, you want to find potable water. You want to find water for a well that's drillable.
Right.
And you want to find it within a certain number of feet of the surface. It's also got to be on a site that's drillable.
Right.
Right. And so all of you have all these pieces around water, and you don't want it, and you want the flow. How many gallons per minute? So you might find water, and you can get to it, but there's not enough pressure. So you might get a gallon an hour instead of a gallon a minute, or
which doesn't
every 30 seconds. So there are all these pieces that when you're learning some of this dowsing stuff.
Yeah.
But it's just another fun tool if you're interested. And I use it in my work. I use all the dowsing tools. in my work. And so I wanted to share that with everybody today just for fun. Is there something that I missed, Pam?
No, I think you're great. We wanted to just make a couple of announcements before we end. And I want to conclude with, if you're a real estate agent and you want to have a house cleared before you show a client or before you put it on the market for sale, call Jane. She can totally help. Do all kinds of things. If you're looking for well water, call Jane. She can help you. And we are going to do a rerun next week. We will not be live because of other obligations, but we will be back on Thursday, June the 3rd, where we're going to continue the conversation on other dowsing tools, right?
So we'll be doing this next time. And this will be more fun for everybody. And this is the bobber, the dowsing bobber.
Yeah.
And this is really good for clearing energy fields, and we'll talk more about how that works.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Thank you, Jane.
Yeah, thank you.